There's a part in the Are You Sure reality show that people are saying confirms the dating rumors. We need to get into Jin talking about JiKook in bed, and then we have JTBC issuing a shocking apology. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Disci, let's get into it. This apology with the JTBC is quite shocking, and a lot of people are talking about it. If you're not aware, Suga recently had a DUI situation. I've talked about it plenty, and plenty of news sites have talked about it, but the shocking part of this whole situation was just how it was reported in the Korean media. A lot of news sites based their report on what was reported on JTBC, and police had allegedly confirmed that the clips JTBC used were not of Suga. So they used the clip showing a man shooting by on the road with his scooter, and then another clip of a random man falling down on the sidewalk as they were running away. As we can see from any of the clips that they reported on, the clip is extremely blurry and we have actually no idea who is in these clips, nor can we actually even see their face. I think when Suga released his statement, people were confused as it didn't match up to the footage that was aired. Of course, we as people are going to believe the evidence or what appears to be evidence and say that Suga was seemingly lying about what actually happened. However, the actual footage was released and it was an entirely different story. Suga was not zooming by, but taking his scooter at quite literally walking speed, and then due to the massive backlash on JTBC, they decided to apologize for reporting the wrong information. Now the question remains if Suga or HYBE can actually take legal action on JTBC for something like this due to defamation, and it would be very difficult if he were to pursue this according to my research. But I'm not a lawyer though. But I believe it's difficult to take legal action unless the prosecutor can convince a judge that JTBC did this out of malice, as if they were intending on ruining Suga's reputation. However, they have issued an apology already, so that definitely will make it much harder to prove any malice. Now this, in my opinion, is very poor reporting. I feel like this will cause a huge ripple effect in Suga's career if it hasn't done so already. First off, several news sites, as I mentioned earlier, don't look into things or do investigative journalism. They quite literally believe sources like JTBC and then report on themselves. So it's very imperative, if a news site doesn't know the full story or have the correct information, to literally maybe not report on it or don't report on it negatively. And it's also extremely important that when we hear two completely different stories, to think that something is wrong here. Like, clearly one person is lying. However, I totally understand that perspective, because if in your mind you felt like Suga really broke the law and he did something really bad, you obviously would not think that he would be above lying. I'm glad they issued an apology. Now, from social media, they didn't write the whole segment, so I have no idea how long the segment was, but what I saw was a 22 segment, and given how many damaging things this has potentially done for Suga, as I imagine a lot more people have seen the story with the misinformation than they would have ever seen the apology and the clarification. And the bottom line is, an apology like this isn't going to go viral as much as a story about Suga allegedly lying. So I'm very unhappy with this situation, and this is just my opinion on what has happened. Just a quick plug here: if you're interested in checking out reaction videos of the boys and continuous love for them, then make sure you check out the Patreon. We have a $1.95 tier that will give you access to literally thousands of videos on the page, where you can check out several different music videos and reality show reactions. It's always a great time, but there are limited spots, so make sure you head over there. There's always shocking stories that happen with the BTS boys, and I was even more shocked after what Jin had said about Jungkook. Jungkook, if you aren't aware, has a pretty extensive workout routine, as you would expect, as he was a model of Calvin Klein. So he definitely needed to be. So Jungkook actually posted his workout routine, as you can imagine. A lot of people were asking about it. Well, Jin actually reacted to the routine, and people were super shocked by what Jin said. Jin was basically saying that Jungkook's workout routine is not realistic, and if you were to do the workout that Jungkook does, similar to what Jungkook might have gone through, which is being sore in bed all day, which is actually what Jin said. And a lot of people are talking about how Jin was then exposing how Jungkook was feeling in his bed. Now, Jungkook's actual workout routine is actually pretty crazy. They call it Jungkook's hell workout, which is 100 squats, 30-minute ab workouts, 20 lunges or legs, 2 sets, 1 minute regular plank, 1 minute right side, 1 minute left side, and then 1 minute 15 burpees. It's not particularly a long workout, as obviously he wouldn't have the time to do a whole lot. However, as you can imagine, doing some of these things for a minute might take some strength, because I feel like even doing like 15 burpees in a minute is a bit crazy. 4 seconds per burpee? Or am I maybe crazy and it actually doesn't take too long? But people were laughing at Jin's reaction, as I think he has muscles too, but maybe not to the level of Jungkook. And I think even he thinks that this workout routine is a bit too much. We all have that one friend that always tries to succeed at things or over succeed at things and always tries to be the best at things. And I feel like JK has a lot to prove to a lot of people. At least I feel like he feels like he does. And so he does these workout routines kind of like crazy and religiously, where he wants to look really good, and that makes him look the way that he does. And no, it's absolutely not true that if you work out and even if you do all these things that you will just look like Jungkook. It's just not true. Everyone has a very different body type to start with, and JK's starting canvas, it probably would look much slimmer already. Very toned still, and he was just working out on gaining muscle. And also, if someone like Jin, who has worked out a lot, danced a lot, and done a lot of physical activity, say that you will be in bed all day, then it must actually be an insanely intense workout. There's also been a scene that was widely talked about that people are saying allegedly confirms the relationship between Jimin and Jung Kook. If you're not aware, there is a reality show called Are You Sure, where Jimin and JK spend a lot of time together, and they just do fun activities. Recently found out that V was going to be joining the fun, and he was going to be part of the show. This made people extremely excited and very happy, as they were not expecting him to be in it. Now, there was a scene that was just posted recently that made a lot of people talk, and basically this scene was one where V and Jimin were driving together. They were passing by an area in which it was very cute. It was like a romantic water area, and they were seeing that there was a couple that was there snapping pics. Jimin mentioned that the pictures probably would turn out really good and that they should stop and take some pictures, and V agreed. And very quickly, V asked if the pictures would be couple-like pictures as similar to the two people that were in that area. Jimin very quickly said no and ultimately denied that. That was then screenshotted and recorded and interpreted in many different ways. A lot of people have many different opinions on what this means. The first thing that someone said was that they talked about how every time people have mistakenly mentioned that JK and Jimin were a couple, that was never denied. Like Jimin had never forcibly denied the way that he did for that moment. And people had a problem with this because they were saying that it was clear that this moment V had revealed that Jimin and JK were in a relationship together. Because obviously you see that he's denying a relationship with V, but doesn't deny one with JK. This is a very odd theory to go by. This is a very odd thing to say because it makes very little sense to me. There are many reasons why someone wouldn't deny that, either in an interview or other variety shows, as it takes up time in the variety show or interview to address something like that, as it also brings attention to it. So people are not going to talk about it. There's also this idea that producers might want to keep shipping moments and cute moments in there between some of the more popular ships because that's something that people like to watch. It's entertaining or whatever, and so these things are done on purpose, like fan service and relationship things are done with thought. And producers usually kind of make aware of what the most popular things are to show to keep people interested. And so if they know things are popular, and I don't just mean ships, but if they know that so-and-so is the most popular when they are shirtless, running around the tennis court, and that opportunity pops up, then they're just going to keep it in the episode because it does well. Of course, they know that a shirtless moment would do well regardless, but the reason why they don't usually show that is more of a guideline thing with the label rather than them not caring about rate. This, of course, is just my opinion and my theory on this. I don't actually know if this is actually what they're doing. Other companies might do this, but I'm saying that I don't know if they're doing this, but it's a reason as to why this particular moment here isn't exactly an explanation or a reason to verify the ship. It's always odd to see what gets the conversation going within the community, but this is what I thought was interesting because it wasn't even that V confirmed anything, but people were insinuating that he confirmed the relationship, which again is very interesting. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. I'll link down below. Thanks, just leave a comment right here. Love you, bye.